How's it going, Scrub Gamers? Welcome back to another video here at Scrub Games, and today we're back with another video for Battle Spirit Saga, and this time going over the fourth and last of the starter decks coming out in March for the game. And this one is the yellow one, and it's called Forbidden Magic because yellow is quite well enforced with the magic cards. And we see that because one of the main skills that is almost, I think, exclusive to yellow at the moment anyway, is a luster, and that's a skill that a skill that the yellow decks have, where when you use any magics while this card is attacking, or what with a card with luster is attacking, you get to add them back from your discard to your hand, or your trash to your hand afterwards. So it makes it you can play the magics and get them back after the battle. It's a really nice keyword skill, and one of my favorite ones in the game so far. Like, I'm a big fan of the yellow stuff in this set, well, in the game at the moment, until we get blue, because blue looks to be mill when it comes out, if it comes out. So like with the other ones, we're going to get into it. We're going to go ahead and look into the spoilers, because these are all exclusives in the yellow starter deck, and have a look and see what they do and see how great they could be. But before we do, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. It helps the channel out greatly and much appreciated, and help me get to my goal of 1,000 subs. But without further ado, let's have a look, starting with the first three. So, first three we got are Calamity Beast Chaos Pegasaurus. I think that's how it's pronounced. Rapier Knight Catsif, and Aryavata. I think. Aryavata? I'm very bad with names, especially with this game. And they're all Fabled Beasts as well, but being one of the main three types currently in the game at the moment as of set 1. So I think for yellow it is Fabled Beast, Angels, and Otherlanders are the main three types that have got the majority of cards in yellow for the first set, and the starters anyway, the first lot of starters. And we've got the X rare for the yellow starter deck, being Calamity Beast Chaos Pegasaurus. This is a 6 cost with 3 cost reduction, and its level up is quite simple: 1, 2, 3 going up, but it's not, as you can see on it. It doesn't go up on its levels as strong as, say, the other ones. Like some of the other starter decks, when their level 3 power is like 10,000, whereas Pegasus only goes up to 6,000 when it gets to 3. But it's a lot easier going up, in that it just needs 1, 2, or 3 cores to level up. And it does have 2 skills. First one being available when you get level 2 or 3, being Junior Attack Step. All of your spirits that cost 2 gain 2,000 BP. So this is great for a weenie rush kind of strategy, like focusing on a load of 2-drops, which is one thing yellow has. Like, yellow has like the Lustered Angel deck, and also has like can go with weenie rush, like little 2-drop, like get a lot of 2-drops in to keep attacking and revolve around that. And the other skill it's got is only available when it's a level 3, which is when a spirit attacks, you get to select 2 of your spirits that cost 2 and refresh them. Refreshing means untapping. For anybody who's not familiar so far with the terminology in Battle Spirits, you got refresh, which is restand, and exhaust, which is tap. And then we've got the Rapier Knight Catsif, being a 3 cost, we're doing 1 cost reduction. And same as Pegasus, quite easy level ups to 1, 2, 3 for its levels. And not the greatest power. Like, yellow doesn't have the strongest in terms of power for their cards, but they do have quite easy ways to level up, like easier core needs to level up, which is cool. And it's only got 1 skill, which is available all levels, being when summoned, reveal the top 2 cards of your deck, add all cards that cost 2 of the revealed cards to your hand, and then discard any remaining cards. So you get a look at the top 2, add any ones that cost 2 to your hand, and send any other ones to the trash. So nice. So once again, like both of these cards so far, focusing on that 2 cost strategy, which is quite cool. And we got the last one. I'm gonna try and say it again. Aryavata. I think I'm really bad with the name. It's 3 costs with only 1 specified cost, with 1 specified reduction, and it's only got 2 levels, 1 and 2, being 1 and 2 for the cores. And its skill is available at both of them, which is when destroyed, you may select a spirit that costs 2 from your trash and summon it. So once again, all 3 of these focus on the 2 cost spam strategy, which is really good. And that's one thing you'll see mainly throughout the starter decks. With the starter decks, they kind of have a mishmash of both sides of it. So you'll get the magic side of this and the Witty Rush side of the yellow. And then we move on to the next lot, being Almirage, Chain Angel, and Sword Angel. So we got the last of the Fabled Beasts in the yellow starter, and some of the angels as well. So Almirage is a 4 cost with 2 cost reduction. 124 for its level up, which is a little bit different than the last ones we saw. And it's got a skill that's only available if you're at level 2 or 3 on the card, which is Revesh the Spirit when one of your other spirits that costs 2 is blocked. So once again, more revolving around the 2 cost spirit, 2 cost strategy with the Fabled Beast stuff. And we go on to the Angels. So we got Sword Angel at the end, which is a 2 cost with 2 cost reduction, so it can be played for free essentially. And its level up is 134 for its levels, and it's just a skillless card. The fact it can be played out for free is quite handy for the little wee Russ 2 cost strategy. And as well as that, we have Chain Angel, which is a 5 cost with 2 cost reduction, and it has a 134 in terms of core level up. And as you see mostly as well with these yellow cards is that their power isn't great. Like so far we've not seen anyone go above 6k on its highest level, and that's one thing you'll find from yellow to the other colors is a lot weaker in terms of power compared to the other ones. But lucky it has some, it does have some nice magic cards and stuff to help deal with that when it comes to combat. Now its first skill is available at all levels, which is during your turn. When you spend a soul core as part of a magic card's cost, select one of your opponent's spirits after the magic effect resolves, and that spirit cannot block during this turn. So it's quite nice being allowing you to use a magic card and select one of your opponent's your spirits to basically say you can't block this turn with that spirit. It's quite nice. And then his other skill, which is only available at level 2 and level 3, is while the spirit attacks, it gains luster. And as we said, Luster is an exclusive skill so far to yellow, and Luster is when the battle ends, return all magic cards you used during the battle from your trash to your hands. So you can, in the battle, use a load of magic cards and then get them all back, whereas normally if you use a magic card, it goes to the drop afterwards, to the trash afterwards. But Luster allows you to add them back to your hands, so you get to use them and then gain them back so you haven't lost anything, which is really nice. So you can keep using them over again on different attacks, as long as you've got the cores to pay for them. So that's the next three. Like really nice how like Angels are all like Lusters, and like the Fabled Beast side is all about the 2 cost spirits. Then we have a few more. So we got our first, our last Angel, our first Otherlander, well, first and only Otherlander I think in the set, and we got our Fair Folk as well, which is another kind of like type in yellow, which we have many cards so far of it from the first set. Axe Angel, similar to the other one we saw, the other skillless, but it's only got a one cost reduction, so it's a 2 cost with 1 cost reduction, and its level is just same to 124 for a skillless, not too bad. And same with Arcana Prince Oboro, we got 2 cost, 1 cost reduction, same stat. What's it? Number of cores need to. Well, no, not really. It's 134 to level up, but then it's got a little bit more power, and it's also just a skillless. And some of the skillless is quite nice because it has a little bit of text. Like all of them has a little bit of like a bit of text about like a story going together with all the cards to give like a bit of background to the lore of battle spirits, which is quite nice. And the skillless ones have a lot more about it as well, which is quite cool. Then we go to Grimoire Fairy, which is a 4 cost with 2 specified cost reduction, and its levels of just 1, 2, 3, which is quite nice. It's nice when you get those just 1, 2, 3 level ups. And its first effect, which is available at all levels, is when summoned, if you top 4 cards of your deck, reveal 1 magic card from the cards you viewed and add to your hand, then return the remaining cards to the bottom of your deck in their order. Now, I've seen this with a lot of games that aren't Dragon Ball, where instead of shuffling the deck stuff, they just look at the top and then they put them to the bottom. So kind of like, so you filter through your deck, but you don't shuffle your deck, so you have to kind of like keep digging through quicker to find the cards. But we get these nice effects to do that, where just look at the top amount, and then your bottom deck, you either send to trash or bottom decking, so you could cycle through, which kind of like fidget deck up. But then if you see something you want and you can't grab, you have to put it to the bottom and try and dig through again, which is a little bit of a hindrance. But as well, the nice thing about this is it just reveals 1 magic card, so it doesn't have to be a yellow one. So if you're taking different colors in with this card in your deck, you can look for, and you've got different color magic cards, you can grab those as well for it, which is quite nice. And its ever skill, which is only available at level 3, which is during your attack step, Revesh the Spirit. When one of your spirits that costs 2 is destroyed via comparing PP, and compare PP is basically when you attack with a spirit and it gets blocked, to see what the outcome of the battle is, you compare BP to see whose is highest, to see which one is destroyed, or if they're the same, they're both destroyed. And those are those 3. And with the last two of the last two of the spirits in the starter deck, we've got Prince Penton and Freestall. Now these are really nice ones, and ones if you want to play the 2-cost like Weenie Rush strategy, you're going to need these from the starter, and they're some of the strongest ones. They're both a 2-cost with 1 cost reduction, and Prince Penton has 3 levels, so it's got 1, 2, 3 as its level up, and its only skill is available at all levels, which is when summoned, reveal the top card of your deck. If it costs 2, add it to your hand. If it does not, discard it, which works out really well. You've got a nice little thing with the 2-cost strategy where you get to, like, Prince Penton's really nice because there's very few cores needed, and it's a cheap card, and very few cores needed to get up to a higher level. And it also helps you like continue on basically replacing itself in your hand by looking for a 2-cost on top of your deck. And if you're playing a lot of 2-costs in your deck because you're playing the Weenie Rush, you're going to replace it and be able to keep doing this as well. And Freestall is an amazing one that is probably a staple in all Weenie Rush decks, or like any decks revolving the 2-cost. Because even though it's got 2 levels and it's just 1 and 2, and it's quite weak, just 1000 at level 1 and 2000 at level 2, it's got a very good effect, which is during either attack step, draw a card when your spirits that cost 2 is destroyed in battle. And the nice thing about this is if he gets destroyed himself during either attack step, he also sees himself being destroyed and draws you a card as well, so that's quite nice in that fact. But Freestall is quite nice, where if you can get this out with several level 2s, and either you attack or you block with them and your 2-cost is destroyed, you get the draw from these, which is quite nice. And as well as that, we have next up our Nexuses. So every side deck's got 2 Nexuses, and ours are Spiral Tower, which is a 3-cost, 1-cost reduction, and Soap Bubble Lakeside, which is 4-cost with 2-cost reduction. And with the Spiral Tower, as you see again, I've seen with most of them, when they're level 1, they didn't require any. Well, most Nexuses that we've seen so far don't require any cores to stay at level 1. Because remember, if a card can't sustain its level 1, have enough cores to keep at level 1, it is then destroyed and put to the trash. And for both of these, for the level 2, you just need 2 cores on it. And for Spiral Tower, its first effect, which is available either level, is when placed, you may summon a spirit from your hand that costs 2 without paying its energy costs. That means you can pay, like, one of the nice things about this is open this turn 1 to pay 3 for Spiral Tower, to then have the level 1 effect live, free play out a 2-cost and put your 4th core that you start off with on that 2-cost, so it's at least got a core in it, and that's really nice. So that's a nice little thing, but outside of that, it doesn't do anything for level 1. But if you get to level 2 and put 2 cores on it, during your attack step, when one of your yellow spirits will be destroyed, you may exhaust this Nexus to return the spirit to your hand instead of placing it into your trash. That's quite nice in the fact that if you bring out a load of 2-drops and you try to push through, you can then rest this to save one that you wouldn't want to be sent to your trash if it gets blocked and destroyed. And then we have Soap Bubble Lakeside. This is a really nice one, and one that's probably one of the best ones for yellow in the Weenie Rush deck. And its first effect, which is available at either level, is during either attack step, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Well, reveal the top card of your deck when one of your spirits that costs 3 or fewer is destroyed. If it costs the same as destroyed spirit, add it to your hand. If it does not, discard it. It's really nice where if you're attacking with something, like if you go Weenie Rush, because you can have a lot of 2 costs, attacking with them and then them being destroyed or using the block and destroyed, you can kind of replace it with a top card and kind of get through your deck quicker to find your little 2-drops. And then if you get to your level 2 effect, you got during your attack step, your yellow spirits cannot be blocked by any of your opponent's spirits with when this spirit blocks effects. So that's quite nice. This mainly combats white, because white's got a lot of when this spirit block effects, as we saw in the last one. And that's the Nexus, really nice Nexus for yellow. Then we move on to the last 3 cards being the magic cards for this. And yellow has some pretty nice ones. So like with all the starter decks, they have two magic cards that have burst effects. So like we see with Imaginary Gate and Puppet Strings. And then one that doesn't have one, but it's still quite decent. So you got Imaginary Gate, which is a 4-cost with 2 specified reduction. And it's got a burst effect, which triggers when an opponent resolves a Spirits when summon effect. And the effect is discard the top 2 cards in your deck. Then select up to 2 spirits that cost 2 or fewer from your trash, return them to your hand, and then you may pay this spirit this card's cost to activate its flash effect. So this is quite a nice burst card. Basically, just discard top 2 cards of your deck and get back to top 2 cost or lower spirits from your drop. Which, if you're playing the 2-cost spam deck, then there'll be a lot of targets and a lot of good ones to target for that. And then you have the main flash effect, which is select 1. Select 1 spirit gains 2000 BP during this turn, which you'll see a lot with, as we've seen, a lot of the ones when they got burst effect, their other effect is gaining power or something like that, which is quite, which is just generic. And then we got puppet strings, which are 5 cost with 5 cost with 3 cost reduction, and its burst is when your opponent destroys your spirit. You get to select one of your yellow spirits and refresh it, so restand a spirit, which is quite nice. Not sure when this is not often that it's going to come up relevant unless you really need it to, especially for a burst or better burst effects. We'll see in the main set. And then you get to pay this card's cost to activate its flash effect if you want to. And the main flash effect is select one spirit, it gains 3000 BP during its turn, so never power boosting effect. And then we got Drowsy Fumes, my favourite one out of the magic cards from the starter, and it's a 2 cost for 1 cost reduction, and it's just got a main flash effect, which is select one of your opponent's spirits, reduce its BP by 2000 during this turn. And as you'll see, some, like yellow has a fair few effects to reduce power, and if a card is reduced down to 0 power, it's destroyed. So no matter how many costs, it's just destroyed, which is quite cool, and I do love that a bit. It reminds me of red and Dragon Ball with a power reduction to kind of kill a card without needing to worry about its cores and stuff. So that is it for today. That is it for the yellow one. So that's how yellow is. It's kind of like a mix and mash of like some angel like beatdown, but mainly a lot of 2-cost spam kind of things. And yes, like even as a mix and mash, is still quite a decent starter deck, and it's one I'm looking forward to pick up when I go to the launch event in London at the end of March. And let me know what one you'll be looking to pick up from these starter decks. Also, thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one when we go over the set 1 spoilers for the set. Bye for now.